Welcome to Carter's Country Club. This is episode 3. Is it the Spark of Creation? Part 5. I'm very excited that you are here. I feel like things are moving forward because they are. As I have shared before, I was on a long hiatus. It is 2026, and today is it's March 6th, and it's almost 1:11 right now where I am in Bowling Green, Kentucky. So I wanted to just play a little bit from Children of Eden. I've been playing quite a bit of this because that's kind of the theme of this episode. But specifically, I want to hear from you if you really understand how much occult knowledge that Stephen Schwartz wove into this musical and how much has been hidden from us and how ignorant they think we are.
I've got a feeling that the Father who made us, when he was kindling
Sorry
the
if that's a
coals
little
I
loud.
breathe, he left a tiny spark of that fire smoldering inside. The spark of creation is flickering within me. The spark of creation is blazing in my blood. A bit of the fire that lit up the stars and breathed life into the mud. The first inspiration, the spark of creation.
Okay, so I've played that part before, but one of the things that I have been really fascinated with right now is just how much I didn't know, how much was hidden. As I have been saying for a long time, thanks to Mark Passio, thanks to his cosmic abandonment wisdom. And as I've shared before, if you're not a student of his, then you should be. I think I've got to give credit where it's due, but I didn't really hear the mud reference until recently. And that is because Carter and I are listening to an audiobook series called I think make sure I'm going to say it correctly, The Immortal Secrets of Nicholas Flamel. And there is so much hidden knowledge in that book. We are in the third book, the Necromancer. So leave me some comments here. Reach out if you've read that series, if you are picking up what I'm putting down, all the things. And if you're like, I have no clue what she's talking about, right? That's hence the reason for this slide. I want you to stay with me here until the end, as I've shared before, not because I'm a Harry Potter fan, but because I'm going to just keep doing my best to pull you in so that we can end human slavery. That's why I'm here. And if you don't think that we're enslaved, I'm really sorry. My friend Arthur thought I was nuts the other night when I said that. So I don't know. I don't know what to do if you don't realize we're enslaved. And if you can't read, it's going to be hard to realize your dreams. Very true. Very true. That's even more true. Like I said, I had a conversation with a friend recently, and I love her dearly. And I don't say this, I love her. I love her. But the fact that she thought that C.S. Lewis was science fiction, I don't know what to do. Okay. So I want to keep moving on because the purpose of this presentation specifically is to keep reminding us of the natural law principle, the first principle, the creator's principle of gender. So my question before this was, are boys really welcome in ballet? What about boys like this? If Nashville Ballet knew what I am teaching to my son, would he be welcome? They'd probably love it that, you know, of this video that you can kind of see, old phone video here, where they would love that Carter can rock climb. There are kids at Nashville Ballet that can rock climb. They would love that he loves classic literature and that he loves the book Farmer Boy. maybe they would be okay with the fact that we used to be super patriotic. But would they be okay if he wore this speed is security shirt with hood rats on the van? I don't know. I don't know. Just like my shirt that I wore the other day, I had it under. No, I didn't. I didn't hide it because, like, I didn't think people would know, right? The no quarter for chomos, hashtag kill bad dudes. That one of my husband's, right? Would they know? I think that, I don't know. So much is hiding in plain sight, but people are pretty clueless, right? So let's bring it back to a little bit of, my background. So, as I have shared with you before, I used to teach a lot of different group fitness modalities, and this was one of my favorites. Um, Viper, Vitality and Performance Reconditioning. Very cool. And originally, it's my understanding that they called that Farm Boy Fit, right? Look at these young dudes, like, are we doing things that are natural and normal, right? Are we playing with cylinder tubes in a gym? I sure loved to flip around these cylinder tubes in the gym. But, should we be outside? And are we saying that like these boys are bad because they're farming and we're not realizing that maybe we need to come together? As I've shared before, I think it's really important, regardless of the fact if we know that carnism is immoral, right? Regardless of that, we've got to come together. So if we're, as I've shared before, it is very much time to stop the debate about meat. Okay. I hear you. I hear you on both sides. On all of the sides, because there's way more than two. Okay. I'm just here to say that I hear you. I love you. I am with you, but we've got to come together. Okay. Because what people are saying about farmers on the other side is not good either, right? Are we looking at this man and we've decided that he's transphobic, that he's racist? Are all white men the problem? Probably you don't think that, that's watching this video, but some people do, right? Because there's been a lot of propaganda in our lives. So beautiful. Not his voice, right? Because we know Bob Dylan can't sing. Okay, I know you know, right? Are we missing the point? Do we think it's the white people or is it authority? I don't know. Are male dancers really welcome or just male identifying dancers, right? If they knew, right? If they knew what I feel, would my son be welcome to dance? Would they know that I think the problem is authority and that I think education in our country is indoctrination? Both sides, public, private, all of it. Okay, all right, I know. We could keep listening to Bob Dylan. And, again, I get what happened. I get all of the operations, okay, but I still want to use music for us to move forward. Maybe you're not familiar with this organization. Maybe this organization is up to no good, right? Many are, but many people don't realize that there is so much going out there that divides us, okay? And as I have shared before, I have many people in my life that are actually gay, right? Not people that you have in your parasocial relationships, not, people that are your friends in Facebook, but actual individuals in your your life. My brother and his husband, my son has gunkles, okay? But if I were to say to them, probably, I don't know, I've told my dad before, I said, do they know about this organization, Gays Against Groomers? And my dad, I think, did like a quick online search and he's like, no, they say that it's right wing propaganda, right? Is this really right wing propaganda, right? Or are these people that are standing up against creepers? I don't know. You can tell me. But what I do know is that when I have listened to them, as I did years ago when this debate came up, I listened to people from this organization. I had actual conversations with one of my closest, dearest friends that is a lesbian. I right? Like, it frustrates me that people aren't having real conversations, that they're seeing stuff like this posted online and they're making a decision one way or the other. We have got to come together, and that is my intention. My intention is to create Carter's Country Club. And I love country music. I've shared this image of my son before. That was my grandparents' farm. It's no longer, it's not there, it's not in the family, right? And I have shared my views about that. But I love country music, and I understand that country music was part of MK Ultra Mind Control. Okay, Carter and I love country music as much as we love musical theater, which I have shared musical theater here. I love music. I just shared Bob Dylan. Okay, and I understand what happened. But I teach Carter that there's three chords in the truth. And this afternoon, in just a couple of hours, I get to go spend hours playing with a group of children that are creating a show called Cowboys and Cowgirls. And they're going to sing and they're going to dance and they're going to do gymnastics because I love my son and I love these children, and I am doing my best to raise a good man. Now, Harlan Howard might have been one of those bad men. There are so many bad men, right? And we're still bowing down to them. We're still bowing down to authority. We're still acquiescing. We're still not doing anything about it, okay? I made the call to pull my child out of his little forest school, because when he was in preschool, he went to this outdoor forest preschool, which you might be thinking, oh, that's so beautiful. And he met this little boy, and they have a bond and a friendship that is so wonderful. And I'm really grateful that he had that time, right? But what I'm not grateful for is that he spent some years with teachers wearing a mask. Okay. And I have shared this before that my last straw with Forest School was the day that they asked Carter to, when they went inside, to like pull his, what do they call those? Like the baklava, no, baklava is like a dish, but what's the, like, I don't know, not a buff, but like the whole headpiece, that's meant to keep yourself warm, right? It was super cold outside, and Carter had this little cute thing. I don't know, maybe I'll have to show you a picture of it so you can understand. It had little bears on it, but he went inside and they asked him to pull that hood over his mouth because they knew that Carter didn't wear a mask. He didn't have a mask. He wasn't going to wear a mask. I did give him this like crazy shark shield thing that if he decided he wanted to put that on sometime, and he did wear that one time with my grandmother, which is a whole other story. But I tried to just do that because it was absurd, right? So I think you and I are on the same page if you're listening here, right? Maybe you also years ago read the psychology of totalitarianism. Maybe you didn't. Again, I don't think that I come to the exact same conclusions as Matthias Desmond. I hope I'm saying his name correct. Matthias Desmet. But I did like this quote. The first thing totalitarian leaders do is make sure their voices are the only ones left, right? And I want to make sure that my son knows how to use his voice. I know he can sing. I know that part, right? But I want to make sure that he is able to move into the stage of rhetoric later in life where he can share better than me, right? And as I've shared before, yes, I did take him up to the trucker convoy. Yes, I wore a bunch of patriotic stuff for a long time. I shared this the other day when I was talking to Hondo and Jake. I've been dismissed for so many things. I mean, it's really easy to dismiss somebody that's like a fitness yoga teacher, dancer, somebody who like was in musical theater and was an extra and was in, film and all of the stupid things that I did when I was stupid and young. And even what I did in the last number of years when I was like, wait a second, I guess I am patriotic. I don't know. I didn't think so, but these are like the only fucking people that are not wearing masks. And I guess I belong with them because I don't know. I didn't know anything. Okay. I am not educated in all of the things. I'm not. I know what I know, and I'm continuing to learn, right? I didn't read The Art of War. I bought that book by accident and I thought it was the war of art. Okay? But I resonate with this quote: Victorious warriors win first and then go to war, while defeated warriors go to war first and then seek to win. Sun Tzu. But you know what? I have men and people in my life who really value the art of war, and I listen to them. And I probably should read it, but I haven't yet. And I've shared this picture before. This is my family. This is from a number of years ago in Jackson Falls. And every time I share this picture, I hear Carter because I recorded one time some audio over this image and let him kind of tell the story. And he says, "This is me. And I had just woken up from a nap, and those are my bears." And that's Black Bear and Butter Bear. But back to, 2020, remember when they were telling us we should listen to black people, that we should make sure we have people of color we listen to? I love to ask people if they thought of Sean Stevenson because Sean Stevenson did a beautiful documentary during that time about masks. Stevenson has written many wonderful books, and I've shared this before. My friend, I guess, I mean, we don't have a relationship very much anymore, but I still hold her dear, and I would still call her a friend. And I hope that someday I get to meet her boys and we get to reconnect. But my friend Jenna Phillips Ballard, had knew two Sean Stevensons, or this is the story that I remember, right? I'm a victim of mind control, so sometimes my brain doesn't work that great. But this is the story that I remember is that she had two friends named Sean Stevenson, and one of them took their class, and I interacted with him, and I thought that he was the Sean Stevenson that had a podcast, and I had interacted with him in person, and I didn't really connect with him, so I didn't seek out his podcast. But somehow I realized, maybe it was through an interview with Paul Check, or I'm not sure, or Rob Wolf, something. Somehow I came across Sean Stevenson. And so during COVID, when they were, Black Lives Matter was going on and they were telling everybody we needed to listen to black people that we haven't listened to, I was like, oh, I'll listen to Sean Stevenson and Candace Owens because I've never listened to Candace Owens because I never really listened to anybody that was conservative before. Again, judge me all you want. But when I was 18 years old, I registered for the Green Party and I wanted there to be something other than politics. I went to this really cool art show in the early 2000s when, the Bushes stole the election. So I was really done with politics. So I didn't know who Candace Owens was at all. Right. And so I have listened to her. And I think she's beautiful. And I think I don't know. I don't know what's behind her. I know that she's digging deeper than many people, but I know that she is still caught up in religion. And that's what Hondo and Jake and I are going to talk about on Monday, right? And again, if you want to dismiss me because I want to get to the esoteric truth, not the exoteric exterior, then I'm sorry. So, yeah, but all this is said just because I didn't listen to Sean Stevenson, and you should listen to him, right? When you don't sleep well, you get slower, less creative, and more stressed, and you underperform, right? Super clear. Sean has more deeper wisdom than that, but that's all we need to hear. This is Carter being grouchy, and I know I have not taken care of myself, and maybe you haven't either. So, this is kind of a call to action. Let's get together, let's do some movement, and let's be more creative.
don't mean that. I mean, if people come up and want to play with me,
Oh, okay.
that's when I'll let him, but not like somebody just walks up and starts playing.
Okay.
Not what you can do.
Okay.
Don't video.
Okay.
Turn that off now. Turn it off.
All right.
Okay.
He had to tell me a couple times, but can you see why I had to keep videoing him? I know, I know. So I want to keep rolling here because I'm excited about the next slide, and I forgot that I had talked about this, right? So Carter's super feisty here, talking about, his 4 year, let's see, he's five there. He's 5 years old there. He's talking about like people he doesn't want to come up and play with him while he's in his speedies and his goggles, right? That's what I call speedos. That's what we call them, speedies. And he's at Deem Lake, right? We used to go to Deem Lake a lot because it was open when the rest of the world was shut down. And I want to talk about, like I said, I've referenced that all people seem to want to talk about right now, right? In March of 2026, right? They were talking about different things back 4 years ago, right? In 2022, when Carter was five. For right now, all they're talking about is Epstein, right? And so you might be like, oh my gosh, she posted a video with her child in Speedos. You should be hiding his face. Nope. Fuck around and find out, right? I didn't know that phrase. Like I said, I was really, really ignorant. I didn't know that phrase, but I'm not worried. I'm not worried. My son is with his father right now, and fuck around and find out if you want to mess with a child like him. But he's not the ones that they're after, right? They're not after him. They can see that the parents are there. And our big vision, as I've shared before, when I say farm, I mean land. I mean regenerative agriculture. I want to regenerate the land. Okay. I don't want to debate all these other things, right? I don't want to debate things. I want to come together. I want a training center because I love movement and I want to train and work with other people. And I know, we've got into human slavery. We've got a lot going on, right? So this maybe isn't going to happen in my lifetime, but I've got to, for Carter, for everything, I've got to believe that this is possible. I got to believe that we can have a fine arts complex. I've got to believe in classical education. I've got to believe that we can have a moral place for all families who consciously choose. I've got to believe that that's possible. Okay. And so I just kept saying belief, 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 because I don't know if it's possible. I can share my beliefs with you all day, but I don't know because our world is fucked up because there are creepers everywhere that are creeping on children, right? And they're not doing it just because they're sexual deviants, okay? Again, that's the occult knowledge. They're doing it to fuck with their psychology. They're doing it to create sociopaths, okay? They're doing it for so many reasons, for control. Authority is the problem. Okay, when are we going to realize that it's our own internal monarchy, not one outside? I think a song is getting ready to play for you, and I can't remember what it is. So I'm just going to hit the space bar and see what wisdom is here. It's perfect. It's Emmylou again. I hear a call. That's synchromysticism.
I hear a call.
That's how it works.
Now will I answer, forsake my all to serve another?
I can't think of anything more
Darkness
perfect than to plead
falls,
with you
say a believer.
and share a cowgirl's
I
prayer.
hear a call. Now will I answer?
Because I'm not praying to a higher
I see a
authority.
light. Now
I
will
know
I
it's within
follow?
me. I know it's within
Lift
you.
up this life that grows more hollow. Make joy reside where there lives sorrow. I see a light. Now will I follow? I hear a call from out of
I'm sorry if you
nowhere,
can't hear this.
and from everywhere
I'm sorry if it doesn't speak to your heart.
I hear a call. Now will
Maybe you
I
have other music that speaks to
answer?
you. This is what speaks to me. Always has. Always will.
I see.
The hardest job kids face today is learning good manners without seeing any. Thank you, Fred Astaire. So true. In my ballets, women is first. Men are consorts. God made men to sing the praises of women. They are not equal to men. They are better. George Balanchine. Maybe you know about George Balanchine, maybe you don't. You know, when we know better, we do better. And, um, we can judge people, right? It's very easy. It's very easy to criticize those that create, those that dance. Um, but we're all doing our best, okay? So, as I've shared before, this is what I do currently. It's what I'm doing. It is, I mean, I defined myself many years ago. I said that I'm a loving, passionate, healing woman. And I'm doing my best to heal myself. I'm doing my best to take care of the children that are right in front of me. So please reach out. If you want to donate to these children right now, like I said, I'm working on a show called Cowboys and Cowgirls, and I'm preparing for my fourth season as the head coach of the Scottsville Sea Dragons. You can donate directly to these children by using these links here. Right in the description, send me an email, tell me where you'd like that to go. Um, I'm not a creeper. I'm not. Um, I know there I know that we will interact with sociopaths right on the street. I know they're right around us. My husband reminds me of that. Um, Not because of his actions, but because of the people that he was physically responsible for their reformation, right? Their reform, which is not what he does anymore, right? But as I've shared before, I'll let him tell his story. But what I do is I coach a summer swim league, I coach recreational gymnastics, and I do my best to to infuse morals with these children every day. So in the next part, this is episode 3. This is part 5. In part 6, I'm going to go back to talking about rock climbing, which I think is really perfect as Hondo, the surfer, and I get to chat about religion next week with Jake. I don't know what his movement background is. I'm going to have to find that out. So anyway, thanks for listening. I'll see you soon.